Now, the other thing that I wanted to address, and this, Teresa's curling up on the table to use the tripod, and she's going to singe her hair on the work light we have up there, but we'll see how this goes. Okay.
So I needed a
That's
different...
all the cable you've got, so it's...
Oh, okay.
All right. So anyway, when I had this note that asked me to comment on 10 years after, I was thinking, well, I'd just write something. But one of the things that really got me interested in wanting to do this webcast, which I thought I might try, is that someone, I forgot my glasses again, someone put a message on another message board. This place is called Susan's Place, and if you'd like to visit it, it's a really good message board. It's at susans.org, but you have to put a www in front of it, because otherwise you won't go there. So www.susans, no apostrophe, just like multiple Susans, okay? Susans.org. So if you want to see Susan's org, that's where you go to see it. And anyway, it's a good message board. And this message showed up, and someone wrote me about it, because I was not really on the message board at all. I stay away from those. Again, I've got plenty to do with story theory, and I teach through UCLA, so there's, you know, I don't spend a lot of time in the gender community. Anyway, it said, I'm the world's biggest cynic. Someone had already written a letter saying, does anyone know how to contact Melanie A Phillips? And this person answered, said, she was supposedly from Burbank, and named a psych I've never been able to locate here in LA. None of the local girls I know her or the psych. I've begun to seriously doubt the credibility, too, as she has never once come to speak at a convention to my limited knowledge. Someone tell me I'm wrong, but I bought into the fantasy myth of a diary she wrote myself a year or two ago. Sorry, knowing my own experience and my friends who are in transition tells me now Melanie is probably a hoax. Well written, no doubt, and intended for profit. It was an internet wank. Sorry to be so blunt, but locally, where she says she lived, there is no backing evidence. Girls, guys, whatever you may be, please do not read online stuff and get on the Me Too ride. Be yourself. Find what makes you at peace with yourself and pursue it to the degree you need. Just advice from one of the elders of the tribe, still blazing the path for others and myself.
Now, the question I have is...
Yes. Oh, come out here. First we have to introduce Teresa. You must see Teresa. This is my lover, mate, and co-conspirator, Teresa.
Hello.
And, okay, and anyway, you were saying.
Since you have everything up on the web for free,
Yes.
how is it you're going to make a profit?
Well, because I also sell it.
Well, the thing is, you know, it's obviously the person had written this because they thought that some mega corporation out there was making mega bucks selling Melanie A Phillips diaries.
Yes, with lots of little ladies personally signing the autographs. I saw a movie once. Was it Hardcore with Georgie Scott? And he walks into this room, and they're selling all these letters that are supposedly going out from beautiful young women. They're all being written by these 65-year-old hags, and they take each one, and they've got this bright lipstick on, and they put a big kiss on the bottom of each page and send it out, and that was the assembly line. Something like that, right?
You know the woman that does the sexy voice in the telephones that tells you what time it is?
Yes.
Same thing.
Exactly. Okay, so here's the world's biggest cynic, the world's biggest cynic, yes, and says that I'm a hoax. And someone else here says, as to whether or not she is real, I do not know. Another message in the thread. However, when my speech therapist, that's what Thera did behind the bushes, when my speech therapist first listened to her to her CD on voice techniques, he asked if she was for real. He said that if she was, she had made an almost impossible change to her voice, but he thought that she was a well-thought-out fiction. I personally don't know. Okay, so I have a response to that here, and we're going to get on to some nice, good, deep, transsexual information you're going to like here today, but...
I want to say one thing
with
regards to the other comment concerning her therapist from before, which was Dr. Jane Thomas.
Yes.
I made my transition about 24 years ago. I knew Dr. Jane Thomas, who was also a transsexual, back before she had changed. And I can assure you that the doctor does exist in the Los Angeles area. Just a little background.
Okay, good. And that's Jane Thomas. She, as far as I know, is still operating out of Santa Monica, where she has a condo. She herself is post-op, and also teaches, I think it's at College of the Canyons, and LA Valley College also teaches a class in human sexuality, and she divulges her post-op background as part of the end of the class, just to get reactions from people and have them question their own philosophies. Anyway, before I go any farther, speaking of this voice tape, voice CD that I sell, Tonight we're going to give one away free, but you've got to send us an email with a specific message, and about halfway through the program, which would be in about 15 minutes, because we're already a quarter of the way into it, into our first program, about halfway through, I will give you the message you need to send to us, and when you send that message, the very first one we receive, not the first one sent, because it takes a long time to get around the internet, the first one we receive has your choice of the Develop a Female Voice video in either NTSC or European PAL standard, or the audio CD or the audio cassette version. So we'll get to that in about 15 minutes, tell you where to send, and announce the winner at the end of the program, and also email the winner. Oh, for your benefit also, I believe I've set this properly so that you can record this. So if you go up to the Files section on your G2 player, it should allow you to record this. If not, without the light. The light is melting. Anyway, if you do not record it tonight, I'm taking the whole program and putting it on the web tomorrow for you to either download or see it in streaming media. Now, because a lot of people get onto our limited server, the sound comes through okay, but the problem is they often get only one frame every 10 seconds. Tomorrow, if you sign on and see the recorded version, you should be able to get about 7 or 8 frames a second, so it's much smoother video. And also I'm going to make this available on videotape. I'm so damned commercial. You can get it on videotape, and then you can get it just right off the original tape that we're recording on the camcorder for $19.95 in shipping, and that way you can have your own copy and not have to worry about signing on, getting bumped off with neck congestion or anything. All right, so in response to, move in, she says. Move in. I'm moving in.
Lighting is much better now.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so in my response that I posted after this was brought to my attention by a cynic, I posted a response called, "Reports of my fictionality are greatly exaggerated." And I'm going to read through it rather quickly. It says, "While I may indeed be a hoax, I'm almost certainly not fictional. At least not the last time I looked in the mirror, but of course things can change, you know. How does one go about proving one exists? I recall a Charles Bronson movie entitled From Noon Until 3 about a gunfighter who stayed behind from a robbery to romance a local widow. His whole gang that went to the robbery was caught. He escaped because he hadn't gone along. Later, she wrote a book about her experiences and recalled him, Charles Bronson, mind you, as a tall, blonde he-man. Of course, he's short and very dark. This bears no resemblance to the man, but because she was so compelling in her description, everyone who knew him began to remember him in that way. Eventually, no one would believe that he was who he said he was. Finally, they put him in a mental institution for insisting he was that gunfighter, which he really was. The orderly tells him that he will meet lots of friends here and introduces him to Abraham Lincoln and other inmates. They address him by his real name that everyone else thinks is a fantasy, and after all that he's been through, he's so relieved he just smiles and walks inside, content to spend the rest of his days as an inmate where others call him by his real name." And I mentioned, well, I suppose with the success of my writings, coupled with my desire for some distance from the past, they've conspired to create, my God, dare I use the word myth? Perhaps I should start listing myself as Myth Melanie A Phillips. Well, here's another clue for you all. It goes on to say my original name was David Michael Phillips. I went to Bret Hart School in Burbank, elementary school, Luther Burbank Junior High. Adopted my stepfather's last name somewhere around there, but I used that secretly because my wife and children still use that name. Move in close.
No, talk more to the camera.
Talk more to the camera. Oh, it picks up. It's omnidirectional. You know, it's like an armadillo.
You wrote it. You know it. You can just say it.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I wrote it, but I have no idea what I said. Anyway, but it does say here, if you'd like to meet me in person, I will be teaching a 12-week course in story structure through UCLA in Burbank. I'm a UCLA professor part-time, and so if you want to come talk to me in person, you're welcome to come to the very first class free of charge. Everybody can come to that first class.